And we're going to go into the Akashic records, and we're going to retrieve these sacred artifacts, these sacred messages, these sacred blueprints that we've actually left for ourselves in the past for our future self here now. And it is said that once we retrieve these sacred items, now we go in with our higher selves, with our totems, with our light beings who love us crew, and we are guided then into which part of the records we go and the information received. And once we receive that information into our etheric blueprint, into our etheric body, then there's a new conversation happening between the etheric body, the mind, the emotions, the physical body, which informs how we interface with the rest of our experience. And simply just receiving that information and being at one with it and coming into alignment with it and recognizing it, remembering it, that helps to inform how we are plugging into the grid matrix of collective consciousness, that superposition soup where all potentials and possibilities, probabilities exist, right? In the atoms that make us up, that are in us and through us, and that make everything up. It is the superposition soup of all the atomic structures of this third dimension. And it is our perception, it is our beliefs, it is our karmas, it is our thoughts, our words, consciously, unconsciously, subconsciously, that are informing the atomic superposition C of our third dimension and how to come and be a density in this third dimension, to be our experience. And so once we even just get a glimpse of something in the Akashic, it's like, oh, everything changes. It's like that, like a Rubik's Cube, right? Like Tetris. It's like things just start to fit. We start to see things differently. We start to, remember things differently. We're plugging into the grid matrix in a different way, and so receiving in different ways. Belief systems and patterns encoded in the Akashic records. We think about the Akashic records being everywhere, right? Because it is all places and in one place at the same time. You see, in my findings, we are constantly reliving these memories, these storehouses of memories rooted in the Akashic. And the Akashic is the holder, is the ether, right? Akasha in our ancient Sanskrit teachings translates as ether. And it is the holding space of all memory. It is the recorder of all people, places, and things through all time, space, and dimensions. And it is also the space where every choice that is made holds all past, present, and future parallel dimensions that we can access. When we are unconscious, we are simply rerunning these Akashic records, these belief patterns, these karmas. And as we know, if we do our work in our spiritual dimensions, that we can override, we can make peace with, we can absolve those connections, those agreements that we've made, those belief patterns. We can change how we interface with those blueprints, with that etheric blueprint, and then how it is embossed onto our etheric body template, informing our mind, our emotions, how to act and respond in this world and interface with the rest of it. So, without the Akashic records, you wouldn't be here. And without you, the Akashic records wouldn't be here. It is the cosmic blueprint holder of all memory, So again, what memories are we living? What memories from this Akashic records are we living? From this etheric plane? What is informing our etheric body and how it shall be healthy and how it shall move and be and embody prana and embody those belief patterns in this world? Are they simply repeated lessons and patterns of the same karmas, just slightly different aspects of the same thing that keep us rerunning certain patterns, right? We keep having to come back, if you believe in reincarnation, and reliving through these different paradigms of exploration, ultimately until these lessons become realized, ultimately until those belief patterns are brought back to the oneness, brought back into that realization of God, of love, ultimately. And we think about the Akashic records as being the collective subconscious. We think about the grid matrix of collective conscious as being the superposition soup. It's the collective consciousness of all time, space, and dimensions. So the Akashic, the etheric realm, again, it pervades all. It pervades all, but it is also that which informs all of how to be whatever it is we are being here. And so what memories are we bringing up? What memories are informing the DNA, are informing our thoughts, our words, to send out as somatic, sacred, geometric aspects that inspire the atomic structures of this world to bring into the density of the third dimension a certain reality. And it is through the grid matrix system that this happens. So we think about the Akashic, the etheric realm being that subconscious. We imagine it in the root chakra, but even though it's everywhere, it is that base layer, right? That base blueprint that informs everything. The grid matrix is that which informs our third dimensional reality. And again, it contains all constructs of all consciousness through all time, space, and dimensions. What we plug into, what we decide, what we speak, what we agree to, what we think about on repetition, on repeat, inspires that atomic dance of that superposition soup where all possibilities and potentials reside in the grid matrix. And it pulls it down. It co-creates on behalf of us what it is that we experience here. And so learning that we have this energy body, this etheric body, and all of these other aspects contained within it that are constantly in conversation with one another and in conversation with the body of the universe, learning that we can inform them and redirect how that energy flows consciously can be of a great benefit to us, especially on our healing path. I'm in the creation process of a screenplay called Grid Mind Science. And I thank you everyone over at Grid Mind Science on Instagram and at Facebook for following my notes on a movie in the making. And the science of Grid Mind Science is the science of healing and ascension. So there's this aspect that, we can sure have a level of experience as ascension, yet without healing, without again zeroing out and bringing any aspects that are limiting, that are hurtful to us, that are causing us to repeat certain patterns that are destructive, that are addictive, that cause hate and fear to perpetuate. As we heal these aspects, we naturally ascend. So we imagine the sun is always shining. Love is always here, right? I always say that this is us, really. Beyond the crystalline tube, beyond the etheric body, beyond everything, we are light, we are love. And it is here in the third dimension that we become a personalized matrix of that which we pull from the grid matrix of collective consciousness, which is a subset of the Akashic records. So we are constantly interfacing with the whole universe, with our subconscious memory strata, and with the potentials and possibilities of what can be here. And we know that there's only one moment and it's happening now. And truly, when we reside in that heart center, that fourth dimensional consciousness plane, that tiny space in the heart, as Drunvalo Melchizedek says, that is that sacred 0 point. That is that sacred gateway, an entryway to Taurus consciousness, to allowing the heart to navigate, allowing the heart to speak, to think, to act through us, to be the driving force that initiates all of our processes.